like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to episode 111 of the Ball Talk Pod. Bit of history today on the podcast. Ball Talk was officially signed to...
That's our history, so...
Ball Talk was officially signed to a podcast network, which is called the Spark Podcast Network, which we're super excited about. Nothing changes with the show for the most part. I mean, it's a way to be able to collaborate and kind of do some other fun stuff, get some better access to some technology, I guess, some upgrades on that front. So that's exciting. But yeah, everything else outside of that, 100% of the content's ours, is going to stay the same. But Chris and I are super excited about it, and we'll see how that unfolds for you.
We are very excited. But if you could not see, if you're not watching this and you didn't see Ben's disappointment as I interrupted him, you missed out. That was his face was just like, oh, God, this guy again.
If that doesn't show that we're still the same podcast, I don't know what does.
Yeah, we're not changing. We're just, we're just getting a little better every day, and that's Spark's part of it.
Hey, every time we step into the studio, it's a 0-0 mentality, and we're trying to be the best.
These are
version
game
of
reps.
ourselves.
We're talking practice. How can I make my teammates better in practice? These are game reps. So
yeah, so fun announcement to start the show. But really, today's episode is mainly about kind of what the landscape of the NBA looks like as the free agency period has opened, the tampering period, legal tampering. Everything before this was illegal.
still happening though.
Still very much happening. I miss the days when you had to stay up till midnight, well, Eastern time. So you stay up till like 11, and that's when you found out like Paul George re-signed with the Thunder, or whichever superstar like KD and Kyrie were going to Brooklyn. And it's like, man, they got a deal done and decided to leave in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Of time that they're legally allowed to talk to teams.
Yeah, now you have agents, you have Shams, all leaking stuff. But I think they were starting to police that a little more, especially in the draft. Like Shams wasn't out there trying to like spoil the draft picks as much this year, so that was nice. So maybe they'll police these deal announcements as well, but not this year.
Oh, I think they already kind of done that. Like they've already, like people have been cracked down for tampering. Like I think the Raptors, maybe with Kawhi, which was worth it, which we'll get into that later. But like way back when, like people were losing like second round picks. I think the Knicks lost a pick for the Brunson.
Oh, really?
Deal, something like that. Like it was one of those things where it was like, why are we hindering? Like it was like a double-edged sword of like, yes, you needed to hurt these teams in some way, but also it was one less player that got drafted.
Right.
So like
you're also hurting people.
To say they were drafted to the NBA. But yeah, Chris, a little rundown of what the Thunder have been up to since we last talked. I know we podcasted last Wednesday, which we had kind of heard about Joe and Wiggins being traded. I think we knew about Wiggins, but not Isaiah Joe.
Still sad. Always be Thunders. But
both traded for second-round picks, 2 second-round picks, that is. Both to situations that I think are good situations for them, good franchises, up-and-coming franchises. We'll see what Detroit has a whole lot of free agency stuff to work through. Atlanta, as we talked about, Wiggins gets to go play with Shea's cousin, which is cool.
Very cool.
Atlanta was the only team in the Eastern Conference to beat the Knicks in the playoffs this year. They swept the other 2 teams. So,
damn.
Was Aaron Wiggins the missing piece to beating the Knicks? No.
Yes.
Because I was going to say no because we didn't.
He's bringing that,
we never got the chance.
That Thunder mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bummed to see them go, but it definitely makes the most sense. I mean, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but in terms of luxury tax, it saved the Thunder like over $100 million in next year's salary, or at least fees and all that gibberish that they have to.
Which I don't know about you, but that is not money that I
care about.
Have.
I don't have that money. Also, one of my biggest takes, I think Alex Linton, friend of the pod, he's also said this too. It's like, I don't care about the having to pay whatever they have to pay to keep the team together. Like there are billionaires in positions to do this.
I agree.
And I understand that the NBA has tried to put things into place that make it harder to. There are more penalties to paying up, which is why you see the Thunder making the moves they're making It's why you see like one of the biggest reasons why Joe and Wiggins, people last year probably thought, oh, we'd get a first round pick for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in today's NBA and the format and how salaries are working, first round picks are the most valuable asset a team has.
Especially since the draft rules changed.
Yes. And so to get a first round pick, I mean, like, I think if the Thunder trade Lou Dort, I think they maybe get one because I think Lou is a level of player higher than Wiggins and Joe.
Sure.
But you're just not going to see people like the one that I kept thinking about, Dennis Schroeder. We traded him for the 24th overall pick, I think it was. It was the 24th or the 27th, the year after the bubble. And we used that trade to package up to go get my boy Poku at 17 in that draft. But like Schroeder at that time goes for a first round pick. If you're in that same situation with these current rules, he's not getting you a first round pick.
Probably not a second.
He gets you a second. He's been. I'm telling you, in 2019, he would have been worth at least what Joe and Wiggins are. I mean, he was your sixth man.
Yeah,
on that team that was on a 50-win pace. But super sad to see Joe and Wiggins go.
Yeah.
Bottom line there. Joe was he's been playing Pinehurst this week to either celebrate or mourn this move. But I hope he's going
I think for those guys, you're sad, right? Because you're leaving your friends, but you understand that you have the opportunity to go work your ass off and kind of bring a little bit of that Thunder culture to different teams and earn a lot more money. Like they have a chance to go make a lot of money now that they've kind of won the championship with the Thunder and then aren't going to play like 8 minutes a game or did not play kind of thing.
Yeah, they're setting up their next contract because obviously the Thunder, as we'll talk about over the next weeks, months, years, aren't going to be in a position to dole out a lot of money because it's already going to be spoken for. So, and they'll be hindered because of all these aprons that people talk.
Those are also changing. They think the new collective bargaining agreement is going to change before really the Thunder have to deal with the second apron, from what I understand.
Yeah, and without getting like too much into the second apron, the thing that handicaps teams when they're in the second apron, and they have to be in it like 3 out of 5 years or something like that. And it's like a rolling clock. But it pushes the draft pick to 30th overall, regardless of your record. Which to the Thunder, if you keep managing assets, and also if you're winning, you're picking there anyway. So also it limits your ability to sign free agents. The Thunder, that's not how they build a roster. There's been one true player that they've really signed in free agency. And so like everything that the second apron hinders isn't an asset to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I'm really not that afraid of the second apron.
But it also adds a lot of tax money, right? And I think that's sort of where you start to see that pinch. And I think it's unfortunate that the Thunder built their team the right way through draft picks and through like development when these rules were probably meant for like larger cap teams,
the Lakers, the Celtics,
who are buying players
the Clippers.
and then just moving off them, right? And they wanted to hinder like the creation of big threes to have more parity in the league. But it sucks that it has to hurt the teams that do it right, like the Thunder. So
yeah. No, it's there's a timeline, and I don't have it directly in front of me, but they have it set up to where by the time the Thunder would be at their most expensive is when, like you said, the collective bargaining would be renegotiated. So we don't even know what like the peak of this is going to look like, if it even is the peak. We might be in the peak the year before, depending on what they come up with. But
there's got to be something that, like, if it's a homegrown player, it doesn't.
You can't penalize teams for like building a team out the right.
Right, and obviously I'm gonna have zero say in it, but like this idea that maybe if you draft a player or you acquire a player within the first 2 years of his NBA career and then you build him up, he doesn't impact your cap sheet as much. Like maybe Shea, or you're not like he can still make that much money. But like this idea that maybe on the books it's less. Like we cook the books a little bit for like homegrown talents like J-Dub, Chet, and SGA.
Yeah, how do you play out SGA though? Because you didn't draft him.
That's what I'm saying. Or you get him within like the first couple of years. But still,
if he's been on your roster for 5+ years.
Right. But there's also a thing like, okay, we pay Shea that much money and he takes up 33% of that cap room. But you also get those discounted cap space for J-Dub and Chet. Yeah, they're kind of like exemptions, right? like Chet and J-Dub, instead of taking up 25% of the cap next year, maybe it falls down to 15 of that cap, even though get paid the same amount of money.
Yeah.
The cap hit smaller.
Yeah. But bottom line is,
because then they would still penalize like teams who are like buying players. Sorry.
No, you're right. I mean, like the bottom line, the moves that they're making, and they're not done making those moves, are positioning themselves to change their roster in a way that makes it more affordable for the long term to keep the main guys together.
Yeah. One of those things is that we signed Lou Dort, or picked up his player or team option. So Lou Dort's back on the team for what, 17 million? 17.7 million for next year. And then we did not pick up Kenrich Williams
7.2
team option for 7.2. I think the idea for Kenrich Williams is that we bring him back on a vet minimum. And then for Lou, I think the idea is to trade him, because Sam Presti's not a guy who's going to let an asset walk.
No, I've never seen, like, the only guy that I know that Sam has let get to free agency without getting anything back from outside of Kevin Durant is Danilo Gallinari. And he was here for a year. So we didn't really have the option to do it. And we were moving towards a rebuild anyway. But no, the Dort team option pickup, a lot of people were texting me like, he's back. And like Dub even tweeted or put on an Instagram story today, like a firework emoji with that. So like he legitimately might play this year for the Thunder. Like there is a chance. They're $7 million above the second apron right now, which there are ways to maneuver that if they really want to. But I think the bottom line for me is when you evaluate Dort's situation is if he was going to stay long-term in Oklahoma City, he would have had his option declined and they would have extended him for less, which is exactly what they did for Isaiah Hartenstein, which happened Friday night. Yeah. With Dort, they picked it up, which means they're probably going to end up trading him. Like you said, Presti very rarely ever lets an asset just fade or fizzle out. And I was texting you and some buddies about this. It's like, if Dort comes back on even this, let's just say, like, for the sake of this, his team option, he's making 17.7, regardless of the behind the scenes salary cap implications. The dynamic of the team is impacted with Dort. I mean, we saw him barely play. He did not play meaningful minutes in the Western Conference Finals. Like he's playing 15 minutes a night. He's still starting because of the respect the organization has for him as a player. But you heard what Cason Wallace says at his end of season press conference, where he's like, I'm ready for a bigger role, basically, is me ad-libbing what he said. And he's literally the perfect Dort replacement. He plays good defense. He shoots better than Dort. He can handle the ball better than Dort. He can finish at the rim way better than Dort. And so you have like what the Thunder do is they, like, with Mara and Sturts and all these people, they're trying to backload their team so that when guys come up and get expensive, they don't have a fall off after they leave. And the Thunder have done that with Dort. And so if he's back on, is he fine being your 10th, 11th man? I'm not saying he'd be bad for the team. Like, he has a mentality that obviously the Thunder value. Oklahoma City as a whole loves Lou Dort. Like, that'll never change. But if you're having to play him and the politics of it all, are Lou Dort's my starting two guard, and Cason Wallace, AJ Mitchell, all those guys are like ready for their opportunity. Right. What, everybody's already worried about what does the dynamic of the team look when you lose guys like Wiggins and Joe, and does Kenrich come back? That's not a sure thing. I do think he will on a vet min, but like you're losing that like camaraderie that has been such a talking point for this team.
Agreed.
So it's not as simple as like, oh, Lou Dort's back. Great. I kind of hope he leaves just for the sake of, like you said, with Joe and Wiggins. It's like, go get paid. Like, you get to do this once.
That's the other thing is, like, do you pay him this year? And then because he's been through your system, he was undrafted, right?
Yes.
Came up through the blue.
First round pick and fell undrafted.
Came up through the blue and then, like, won a championship with you. As a sign of respect, do you just pay him his money and then let him walk into unrestricted free agency next year? I mean, that's an all-time respect move, just to like pay the guy and be like,
try to
okay,
go win
now,
one more championship with him or something,
and then like go get your money, kind of thing, And then like if he really wants to stay, he'll come back. But like that would be an all-time respect move, though I don't think it's the right move. You can still respect a player by sending him to like we did with Joe and Wiggins.
Yeah, but then you talk about like, oh, you're paying your respects to him, and but like if he's your 10th or 11th man, you're tanking his value. Like Dort's highest value inflection.
No, you're right.
Is right now.
No, that's a good point.
Not in his entire career. Probably last year after the finals run was the most valuable Lou Dort was considered because he was shooting well. I think his defense fell off this year a little bit, but I think
that's a good point too.
As good. And so, like everyone's talking about, like Wiggins. They were showing the anniversary of Dub's 40-point game. Wiggins had 14 points in that finals game. He was playing in Game 7, and you're telling yourself 365 days later that you could only get 2 second-round picks for him because he couldn't crack the rotation. And when he did, honestly, if you want to rip the Band-Aid off, I love Wiggins. He was not good when he was on the court.
Right. Yes. I mean, yes.
That's the risk you take of keeping him on the team.
That's a good counterpoint to like just like letting him, like paying him and then like letting him go, because you could be ruining his chance to go get. If he is playing like what 10 minutes a game, like
he's not
you
worth
do
more than what he's making now.
You do tank his value, and he can't go get that second bigger contract. So the idea is to like trade him, let him play 30 minutes a night, get his value back up amongst the league, and then he can go and get another bag. So I think you're right. I think the most respectful move now is to trade him to the East, not to the Lakers.
Specifically to the East. Well, and one of the points too is people are like, oh, he could play out because the second apron thing that we've talked about and everyone's concerned about does not happen until the end of the season. And so like you could technically trade him at the deadline and get under the second apron and you're fine for tax purposes. But I just like, for a team that likes each other, that plays well together, like I just
trade him
hate
before the season.
I just hate mixing things up halfway through the year. Like
I agree.
like we brought in Gordon Hayward. Like that was awful because he thought he needed a bigger role. Like there's just a very select, and the only time I've ever heard Presti admit to a mistake was when he said I should have looked more into the Gordon Hayward trade. Is me ad-libbing what he said, because the fit was not there from a personality standpoint. And like if you don't like, trade deadline in the NBA is like closer to the end of the season. It's not the middle. It's February. And so you don't have that ability to really like sit back and peel all the layers of the onion to see what kind of ogre this guy really is. And so I just don't think you should wait till the trade deadline. The trade deadline is a time that you can maybe accrue assets, but I don't think it's where a contending team should make a move. If you're on the doorstep of being a contending team, sure, go make a move. But like the Thunder, the Spurs, you have to throw the Knicks up there as they're the defending champs. Like that level of team, barring injury, should not make midseason acquisitions. At least
I agree.
Substantial ones. And trading Lou Dort at the deadline to me would be a substantial one, not because of necessarily what he would do on the court, but because of what he means to the locker room.
Right. So do you think if we make it to the season with Lou Dort, he's staying the whole season?
Yes.
I'd agree with that. And
like you said, it's a tip of the cap to him from Presti of like, I'm not going to, wring every ounce of value out of you. Like,
right.
Like you've done a lot for us. We've done a lot for you. Go get him, Tiger.
Right. No. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, like I legitimately think if I'm the Thunder, you trade Dort, and I am of the mind now that like I think you trade Topic. Like I am on team trade Topic.
And maybe that's where this goes. Instead of trading Dort, we get under the tax by trading Topic at the deadline.
I do think I think if you traded Topic, I think it does get you under the second apron, but I'd have to go double check that.
I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's like right at it.
Maybe that's what you do at the deadline.
We're $7 million over.
Maybe that's what you do at the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, like that's all the Thunder have done the last couple of years. You traded Oos this year. 2 years before that, you traded Poku. I mean, like all these players that aren't going to pick up their option. Again, it's Presti getting like, can I get a second round pick out of this, or whatever it might be.
Knocking on doors. Hey, would you like? Like this guy?
I think we had to attach, if I remember correctly. I think we had to attach a second to. I know Dylan Jones to move him, and then I think we had to attach a second to Oos to move him.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is why you accrue these. It's not a bad thing.
Second
to have
round
2
picks.
Seconds. But yeah, it's going to be very fascinating. I mean, the NBA free agency just started. The league year doesn't start until technically tomorrow.
Well, let's talk about, before we move on to the league, we need to talk about Happy Thunder stuff.
Correct.
And we have Isaiah Hartenstein coming back on a very team-friendly deal.
Team-friendlier, I would say.
Team-friendlier. I love that he loves Oklahoma City, and that's part of the reason why I think it's I called it team-friendly, just because his love for the city, and that he didn't go somewhere, or that we didn't have to trade him because he's just too expensive, right? And the funny part to me is that there's like a 16% trade kicker. So he's making $25 million a year, which is lower than his 28.7.
Well, we haven't seen the exact numbers. We just know it's 3 years, 75.
Oh, sure. Okay. So we don't know exactly what it is. It could be front loaded, could be back loaded, but he is making less money because he was going to make 28.7 next year or this year. But there's a 16% trade kicker. So if we wanted to trade him, his contract goes up by 16%. Which is equal, which is be 28.7. So the idea is that maybe if like it's in 2 years, it's not working, we trade him and, or, you know, Mara or Sorber takes off and you're like, okay, let's get some value back. He gets the money he took to stay, which I think is a cool move that I don't think I've ever seen. I've never seen that before.
There's trade kickers, but not like in like decline situations like this where it's like he took a pay cut technically.
Sure. Do we pay that, or is that just a part of the next?
We pay it.
Okay. I thought,
and I think I think it would hit our salary cap, but
okay,
that's another.
But still, it's cool to see a guy choose to come to Oklahoma City for the fans twice, and from all accounts, his family loves it here. His dad loves it here, and he's done a lot in the community. So shout out to him. Glad to have him back. Hub of the offense. Important for us going forward as well.
Well, and we talked about it, at least either on last pod or recent. We were like, there's zero chance Hartenstein's not on this team next year because you can't roll out a rookie Mara, a technically rookie Sorber, and J. Will as your center rotation.
Backups.
On a contending team.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like you that was not an option for this team. And
you also
that wasn't a hot take. Like I'm not saying that's like news to Presti, but
you're also talking about like having players in waiting. You want to have those players have time to work with the guys ahead of them so that they can become that good, right? You don't want these guys to like, Kaysen and Dort. I think J. Will's learned a lot from Hartenstein. Like I think that's part of that pipeline that we've talked about. And so to continue that pipeline, you need those guys on your team. And so shout out to him. It's a really big deal. Really, really big deal.
I just like, it was the moment that it was like we were watching, it was the first episode I've sat down and watched with my wife. We watched Love Island. Trashy TV show.
Is it Love Island UK or are you talking the American version?
The American one. She's very excited for the one that comes out in 26 minutes. She said it's going to be a lot of drama. So I get the recaps like right before bed. But I actually watched it with her on Friday night, and the Hartenstein news popped up on my phone. And it was like you said, like you're talking about happy news. Like it was like the Thunder are making a position where they're prioritizing this year, but they're also prioritizing like it's set up so that going into his final year, if he's still on this team, there's a mutual option to where they would completely renegotiate it if they wanted to. Seeing where the salary cap is, where the value is in terms of positional value in the NBA, like that was agreed to, and it makes Hartenstein a very tradable piece too. Like as much as you don't want to talk about that as someone who just re-signed, but like it makes you think like this is the agreement they had with Paul George. You know, like Paul George signed a contract, and I don't remember the exact details, but I specifically remember them talking about like why did he take this with Oklahoma City? Like he signed a 4-year deal. And I think in Oklahoma City that summer, 2019 or 2018, he was traded in 2019. He could have signed like a 2+1 where you sign for 2 years with an opt out and it would have lined up his next contract negotiation with a cap spike or whatever it was. Like there were different salary options and contract structures that would have put him in a better situation. And in terms of like financial growth, I guess.
Right.
And he signed a 4-year deal, a flat 4-year deal. And all of a sudden the next year he's off to LA. And obviously it paid off pretty good for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But it gives me that vibe of like, we're keeping all of our options open to the point where we value you to be on this team now. I think even unless Mara or Sorber just come out and look like, you know, they're all rookie first team or something like that. Somehow, some way, I don't know how they're going to find the minutes to crack that. But they come out and have that level of impact as a rookie. Then you have the Hartenstein conversation, even next summer, of do we need him? Can we afford to pay him? We still don't have news of a Cason Wallace extension, so that will impact a lot. There's been reports of like teams are hopeful that basically that he wants out of Oklahoma City, which all the national guys have said, yeah, they're hoping.
There's hope. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that stuff's always funny because it's like, there's a source from the Nets that inside source that Jason Wallace is unhappy in Oklahoma City. It's like, is he? Did you?
Yeah, and it's a Brooklyn reporter.
Yeah, but
He's a New York Times guy.
The league believes. That's what they always say. There's people in the league that believe. I was like, okay.
Yeah, like
James Dolan.
Everyone has been like, everyone in the know, at least on a national scale, have been like, no, there's not really any expectation or like legitimate expectation that he wants out. I do think he wants more responsibility.
A bigger role.
Like
Sure.
I don't blame him for that, and that's what goes back to the Dort dilemma. But do you extend Kaysen? And then I think the thing that people aren't talking about yet because it's not prevalent yet. But what the heck does AJ Mitchell's next contract look like? Because he's making $3 million a year, and he's gonna, like, on the open market this offseason, if he was a free agent, someone would give him a max contract, like the rookie max, which isn't the one that Shea has, but like similar, like Chet and Dub are making $40 million a year next year. Like that's what people would line up to pay AJ Mitchell, and that's where the McCains of the world and the Bennett Sturts that you just drafted, like any of those guys, try to backfill that position, or is AJ that good? And again, you go into this like, what are million and billionaires ability or desire to pay? Do you just pay him?
Right. Yeah.
And so
I'd agree.
That's a situation that hasn't hit yet. Obviously, you're reaping the rewards of fantastic scouting. I mean, the documentation and the story of how they got AJ is insane. They traded Lindy Waters. They didn't have a second round pick in this draft. They traded Lindy Waters for like the 57th pick. And then they used that pick in cash to trade up 2 more times to get to, I think it was 37 or 34, to draft AJ Mitchell. And he now was the missing piece, literally, to you making a finals appearance last year, if he's healthy.
Absolutely.
Now, asterisk, Dub also was the missing piece.
Dub
a very large
help.
piece. But, like, is that a story that Presti somehow springboards into, I'm going to find a way to get 3 more first-round picks out of AJ Mitchell? Or is he that important that you can't lose him?
Sure.
And
you hope that.
And that's not a situation that you have to worry about yet. But Presti's already thinking about it.
That's coming.
It's 365 days away, basically.
Yeah.
But I want Kaysen to stay. I texted you guys in our group chat the roster next year, even without Dort, and it's freaking loaded. Like this team is still so. Like I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this guy. And I was like, these are all top-end NBA talents. And you just have to figure out how to pay them all, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting. We don't have the Kaysen news yet. I'm not saying that it's like a red flag or anything like that. But we got the big threes contracts, I think, like the night before free agency started last year, give or take a day or two. And like they all kind of came streamlining out at the same time. The difference with that, though, is like the figure of the annual salary was not really negotiated. They were getting the max contract. Whereas Kaysen, it's like last year at this time, you're thinking like even like 4 years, 100 million might even be a little bit of an overpay, but he could probably project up to that. I've seen people say he's going to get like 120 million over 4 years. And so
much money.
It's a lot of money. And I think he's really freaking good.
And he's worth it. I do think he's worth it.
But is he worth it in this situation long term?
Yes.
Yeah. Because like another.
I think you.
Go ahead.
Well, I just think, I think the Spurs have shown it this year, and we showed it last year and this year, that point of attack defense is important. No matter who the guys are behind you, point of attack defense is important. And so to lose him and Dort like automatically lowers that point of attack.
You can't lose both of them in one offseason. If Kaysen comes in and says like, you can't pay me enough, like
you sign Dort.
You keep Dort. I mean, like that's just how.
Can you talk and extend Dort still?
You can sign him to an extension, but you're locked in it. Like there's probably ways to go about it where you like, what's the phrase? Restructure.
Sure.
Maybe. But because another thing that I was listening to the OKC Dream Team, which is the Patreon one of all the beat writers for the Thunder, which is a great listen for anyone that wants to spend $6 a month for a podcast. Let's say you let Dort walk, and even with Kaysen on the team, Caruso's an old 31,
Yes.
Like, and I think we all now understand that it's like, I don't really care if he plays in the regular season. But over the course of 82 games, you need people out there. You got to be able to battle the Lucas of the NBA and the Wembys and all these people. And we know that winning games in the regular season is very important when it comes to like home court and things like that in the playoffs. Are you looking at this team a year from now and you've let Dort walk and you've had to trade Kaysen and Caruso sprains his ankle in the first round? And you're like, all right, Dub and AJ Mitchell and Shea, you're our best 3 perimeter defenders.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you got to outscore teams.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Like there's so many variables and it's all what ifs, which what ifs are what ifs. But there's a lot of stuff that has to break the Thunder's way. And I know that Presti's thinking of all this. But yeah, it's an interesting time. Gun to my head, we're extending Kaysen and trading Dort. Bottom line for me. I think you agree with that.
I do.
But
I think you have to.
But yeah, the Hartenstein situation was great news. Bummer to see the players go that have. A couple shout outs before we get out of here. We'll recap like the whole landscape of the NBA later because like Ja to Portland and Giannis to Miami.
I want to give one shout out if we're giving shout outs. Shout out LeBron. He had a GOAT dad move today. All-time dad move. So yesterday, his son Bronny James did not have a guaranteed contract. Today, on June 30th, his money became guaranteed. So he's now guaranteed by the Lakers $2.3 million. And then LeBron, after it was guaranteed, decided to say, hey, Lakers, move on without me. I'm going somewhere else. So he's like,
pay my son.
I'm getting my son paid. All-time dad move. And then just decides to fuck off to who knows where, you know?
Yeah. No, it's
all-time dad move.
It was, and he's the one player in the NBA that could probably pull that off.
Yeah.
So we'll see where he ends up. A lot of people think like Golden State. People have said Cleveland. Somebody was trying to get him to San Antonio.
I hope he goes to Cleveland.
Yeah. Go East.
Old
man.
It's been a weird offseason so far.
Very.
Don't you think? Like, it's just
Kawhi finally went East. Kawhi is back on the Raptors.
Yeah. And then Ja Morant going to the Blazers. It's like, what is going on?
There's
and
a lot
then
of moves
LaMelo
that
Ball
have not
going.
happened yet.
Sure. But like the moves that have happened so far have been kind of head scratchers. Some people love
most dramatic league in the professional sports world. Like
sports
very
world.
Overreactionary. I get
always
it, like,
online.
Yes, very online. I mean,
the Jaylen Brown stuff, like how he was like the Celtics were trying to trade for Giannis and they were going to give up Jaylen Brown, and that all came to light. And now Jaylen Brown's like, I don't want to be on the Celtics.
Yeah.
And now the Celtics are like having to trade their second best player, and then
their leverage is shot. Like they won't get a Giannis level player or even a pick package that really is worth a Jaylen Brown, because they've already played their hand that they're going to trade him.
Yeah. And they have to trade. And he's going around saying they have, like, it's just, and then, oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's just like a preview of what's going on. I'm sure there's a lot more to come, like you said. It's gonna be a big offseason.
We'll see where LeBron goes. The 2 biggest question marks in the free agency landscape have been answered, though. Ousmane Dieng has signed a 3-year, $17 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks, which is super cool for him. And then, speaking of roster construction in 2 ways with the Thunder, Brandon Carlson has been on a 2-way for the Oklahoma City the last 2 years, signed a 1-year deal with the Portland Trailblazers. So he is on an official NBA contract, no longer a 2-way. Everyone kind of thought he was that level of player. He was our best 2-way player last year and the year before, I think. But he just was so far down on the depth chart that it's all we could offer him. And he got a championship, got great experience, and now he is a full-blown NBA player. So super cool for those 2 guys. Yeah, there's just a lot going on with the NBA. They're crazy, and once the dust settles, we'll be here to recap via the Spark Podcast Network.
And amongst other things in the Oklahoma landscape, OU football, there's been some news. The only thing I really want to say is that John Mateer retooled. He's retooled his throwing motion, went to a biomechanics expert, is figuring some stuff out. So be excited for that. You got some clips of him throwing at the Manning camp. Today we got him front squatting some pounds, I think. So it's peak. It's like everything in sports is kind of dead, but it's peak just like
hype train
random videos. Like Shea scoring for like the Canadian national team. Like it's just hype train city.
Yep.
So welcome to the summer.
To get you through that summer, the Canadian national team does play on July 3rd in qualifying. And then the Thunder's NBA Summer League starts on July 4th. Very patriotic of them. And keep enjoying the World Cup. USA plays tomorrow against Bosnia. So.
And something else.
Herzonia.
Okay.
Basically two countries. That's the joke. It's like, man, we have to play Bosnia and Herzonia or whatever. I'm saying it wrong. Someone's going to text me after that we post this, but I don't care. With that, Chris and I have to get to a basketball gym to hoop a little bit, but we will be back next week.
We don't just talk about it. We be about it.
We get hurt doing it, too. We find a way. But with that, we are going to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week. See ya.
See ya.